Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. I'm welcoming you all to this cricket happening show today with the news that Australia have just won the final test match against New Zealand and they have made it a clean sweep 2-0, as this was always something which was expected to happen, and finally it happened after lunchtime where Australia has won the match by 7 wickets against New Zealand, and this also helps them go to the top of the table as far as the ICC Test rankings are concerned. They are ranked number one now, and they live up to the billing, and also this was a very sad moment for New Zealand cricket as Brendan McCullum, the New Zealand captain, played in his last day of his Test match, and that was the end as far as Brendan McCullum's international career is concerned. But what a career Brendan McCullum had, and in fact, one feels a bit grieved or sorry for Brendan McCullum that even though I would say one feels sorry for Brendan McCullum that this was his swan song in international cricket. Well, he has done a lot to New Zealand cricket, no doubt about it. He has transformed New Zealand cricket as a whole, according to me. And this show is a real tribute to this gentleman, Brendan McCullum, who, whatever you call, a great captain, a great motivator, a wonderful fielder, a very, very attacking batsman who gave thorough entertainment to cricket fans world over. And one can say that world cricket is going to miss a very, very entertaining player like Brendan McCullum. So this was the last day, and that was the end of Brendan McCullum's very, very glittering international career. So wish Brendan McCullum well in his life after retirement, so that he can spend with his family. Definitely we saw that in the post-match press conference, he definitely said a few words, and he also had some encouraging words for his team, saying that these are the players for the future. Definitely it's pretty. For me, it is a very, very sad moment that I would have been really loved it if actually Brendan McCullum had definitely played in the T20 World Cup in India. So with Brendan McCullum gone, it is like almost like a half the side gone for New Zealand. So I think New Zealand would be finding it tough in India in the T20 World Cup. But with Brendan McCullum, one could confidently say, because he's a thorough contributor, not really talking about those New Zealand cricket players who are also very, very good players. They are definitely good players for the future. They definitely have a good blend, no doubt about it. But with Brendan McCullum added to that group, I thought New Zealand would have looked very powerful in the T20 World Cup. Anyways, so that's the end of Brendan McCullum's international career. As I said, even though he didn't, he couldn't cover himself with glory as far as the Test win was concerned. He has to his team had to actually lose this Test match. But one thing that I can tell you, as I said, he has already etched his name in the record books by scoring the fastest Test century ever in Test history. And this particular record is definitely going to stand for quite a long time, unless another person who comes in the comes in the shape of a Brendan McCullum could actually smash this record. As you know, it's a century of just 54 balls, and I have always said that no cricketer in international history, in Test history or any history, has actually gone on to score, make a world record, and then retire in that same Test match. So this will definitely be something for the quizzers for sure. Who was the cricketer who actually created a record while retiring in his last Test match of his international career. It's none other than Brendan McCullum, the New Zealand captain. Well, dear fans and subscribers, this was just to talk about Brendan McCullum. One day, if I get time on this cricket happening, so I know the cricket schedule is getting pretty busy. As you know, the Asia Cup is starting tomorrow. It's between India and Bangladesh. The first match which is coming up, that the curtain raiser of the Asia Cup which is coming up at Mirpur. So cricket calendar is getting very very busy. First it is the Asia Cup. We also have the qualifiers going on right now in Bangladesh. Then we have the Asia Cup proper starting up, and also the T20 World Cup is not very far off. It's only a matter of probably 20 days, one could say. It's on 8th of March. The T20 World Cup 2016 kicks off in India. Well, but as I said, so cricket calendar is very strong here. I would love to do a sort of a show only on Brendan McCullum's international career, but unfortunately, time is a big constraint, dear fans and subscribers. Anyways, just keeping the talk here. So as I said, I would be doing a small preview of the India-Bangladesh, the first test, the first match of the Asia Cup 2016 coming up tomorrow. And also I'll be talking about the inaugural Pakistan Super League. Today the inaugural Pakistan Super League ended with Islamabad United being crowned as the champions of the inaugural Pakistan Super League, which sure was a great success, no doubt about it. And the Quetta Gladiators were defeated today by Islamabad United. So I'll be actually speaking about that. But first, let's go on to the match between Australia and New Zealand, the final test match. And just I'm going to start off from where I left off yesterday. As you know, New Zealand, I actually left you, dear fans and subscribers, when BJ Watling and after Jackson Bird had actually done some terrific strikes there, it was left to, and one thought that probably Australia might be batting on the same day. But thanks to a very good partnership, I thought, between BJ Watling and Matt Henry. Matt Henry definitely stroked the ball beautifully, and we saw that Watling was another one who was also doing a good job. And they really frustrated, I thought, because what a partnership. In fact, from 210 for 7, probably Australia would have thought that they could actually wind up this New Zealand innings quickly. But Watling and Matt Henry having other ideas, and they also put up a record partnership, I reckon, because they added almost 120 runs for the 8th wicket. So it could have really frustrated the Aussies, no doubt about it. And thanks to these two blokes, New Zealand could set a target of 200 for Australia. It's quite a different matter that Australia won the match pretty easily. Well, so Watling contributed 46 with 6 boundaries, and Matt Henry was very impressive and really showing the Matt Henry that he's a person in the lower order who can come and really bat very well. And what a knock he played. In fact, he scored his highest score in Test cricket, scoring 66 runs with 12 beautifully hit boundaries. And he was a victim of the bowling of Jackson Bird. And Jackson Bird, in fact, had a wonderful Test match. In fact, he got his maiden 5-wicket haul in Test cricket after coming back into this Aussie team. Neil Wagner was not out on 3. Bolt was out for naught. 335 was the final figure for New Zealand in the second innings. That left Aussies to get 200 runs exactly for a victory. As I said, Jackson Bird definitely deserved those bowling figures that one sees on his bowling book there. 17.1 overs, 5 maidens, 59 runs and 5 wickets. He definitely got the ball to talk there. Pattinson also did a wonderful job in the initial stages. 26 overs, 8 men, 77 runs and 4 wickets. And 1 wicket to Josh Hazlewood. Also bowled well, even though his figures might not reflect that. 1 for 92. Nathan Lyon, none for 42. And Marsh, none for 49. As far as Australia were concerned, they started off their chase, and David Warner was really, got along very well by hitting 3 boundaries. But then David Warner played a very silly shot, one could say. In fact, he tried to actually go and flick a delivery outside the leg stump, and it was neatly held by BJ Watling behind the sticks of the bowling of Neil Wagner, and he was gone for 22 with 3-4. So that was yesterday, and today it was Usman Khawaja and Joe Burns in the middle. And let me tell you, Neil Wagner was unleashed on the Aussies, and Neil Wagner, especially continuing the what he did in the first innings by really rattling the Aussies with a lot of bouncers. and we definitely saw that there was he also hit Joe Burns on the helmet today. And both Usman Khwaja and Joe Burns had to be a bit watchful as Neil Wagner was unleashed on them. And Neil Wagner, being an aggressive bloke himself, really made life a bit difficult for both the batsmen. And But one thing was good, that Joe Burns showed a lot of composure. In fact, he was not worried to actually take his time at the crease, which was very good. Usman Khwaja also did a fine job, and both actually chiseled together a partnership which pushed on the score to 113, and that was the time Tim Southee nipped the wicket of Usman Khwaja today, when Khwaja actually edged on to a delivery which went as a head-high catch to Brendan McCullum, who made no mistake. And so he was gone for 45 with 4 boundaries. So that was the second wicket to go. After that, Steven Smith came in, and Neil Wagner was in full cry at that moment. And Neil Wagner once again decided that, as you know, Neil Wagner hit Steven Smith on the helmet, as you would remember, in the first innings. And this time, Neil Wagner was once again the same old self, started attacking Steven Smith first up with bouncer, and what a retort and what a repost he got from Steven Smith, who probably was determined that this time he is not going to allow Neil Wagner to bounce him away. And in fact, he sent the ball, the first ball that Neil Wagner bowled to Steven Smith, disappeared into the fence. In fact, it went over the fine leg region for I think either it's a boundary or 6, I'm not really sure about that. But it was a very good retort. And after that too, Neil Wagner continued to pepper Steven Smith with bouncers, but Steven Smith was absolutely equal to the challenge. In fact, he played some tennis strokes there, and he also showed a lot of guts there, as he really took Neil Wagner head on, which was good to see. It was a nice little battle which went on. Joe Burns on the other end was quietly accumulating the runs, and before one could realize, Steven Smith had raced on for 50, which was good 50 in company of Joe Burns. And then finally Joe Burns, and with 15 minutes left for lunch, it was Steven Smith who actually took the umpire's permission and extended the time where he could get an extra 15 minutes. And Joe Burns started in right earnest by putting Bolt through the offside for 2 beautiful boundaries. But then Bolt actually had Joe Burns stump cartwheeling for 65 with 9 boundaries. That left no other choice but for Steven Smith to walk, and the New Zealand bowlers, fielders, the New Zealand players, to walk away for lunch on the final day at the Hagley Oval. And then finally, after lunch, they required only 16 runs. It was a mere formality as Steven Smith completed the final rites, I would say, of this match. It was Adam Woods actually. In fact, Steven Smith got a maiden, not a maiden, but he got a 50 to his credit, as he was not out on 53 with 4 fours and 1 super. Adam Woods was the one who played a beautiful bended knee drive against the bowling. I think it was, if I'm not wrong, it was Trent Bolt. Beautifully creamed him through the covers for a beautiful boundary to end this match with Australia winning the match by 7 wickets, and thus taking the series to the Trans-Tasman series 2-0. Steven Smith was not out on 53, 4 fours and 1 6. Adam Woods was not out on 10 with 2 boundaries. Match over, and Australia getting to the number 1 ranking. And Joe Burns, for contributing in both innings, got his first Man of the Match award in Test matches. And truly deserved so. Bolt 17 overs, 1 made and 1 for 60, 1 for Tim Southee, 1 for 30. Henry 1 for 33. Henry bowled very well. Neil Wagner was completely aggressive, 18 for 61. Anderson 3 overs, none for 14. So this is as far as the story of the Australia-New Zealand Test series went. So it's all over. So the teams would be definitely getting prepared now. And I think Australia definitely have one series. I reckon they would be on their trip to South Africa before the T20 World Cup. So that's going to be a very, very interesting series, especially considering the fact that South Africa have just beaten England in both the one-day internationals and the T20s. So it should be an interesting tussle which should be coming up. Well, from here, let's have a look at the Asia Cup. As I said, the Asia Cup is about to begin. We have the qualifying stages going on in Bangladesh. United Arab Emirates has become the team which has already qualified for the main draw, as we all know. And India and Bangladesh will be the ones who would be playing the first match of the Asia Cup. And looking at, let me tell you, one can't take. One is that Bangladesh are playing on their own territory, which is always called a home advantage. And besides, India has already learned it on their last trip that how tough it was against Bangladesh. So Bangladesh definitely, I would say they are definitely very confident bunch. And gone are the days when one could have taken Bangladesh lightly. And Bangladesh are very, very serious competitors. And but should be a nice battle. India coming back after a wonderful trip in Australia. In fact, by beating Australia, as you know, in the T20s, and they are definitely hungry, I would say. They also, even though they had they suffered a shock defeat against the Lankans, they came back in the next two matches to take it. Now this is going to be different stuff. It's going to be the 50 over version. Well, for India, everything looks pretty good. Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma. Shikhar Dhawan has already improved his onside play, and that should really help him to deal with the Bangladeshi bowling. No doubt about it. Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan now a very established opening combination for India, and a very successful one at that. And then we have the world-class player Virat Kohli coming in, Suresh Raina doing the chipping, and then they have Yuvraj Singh, always a threat in any form of cricket. Mahendra Singh Dhoni himself, a biggest threat one could say, leading the team. And then Mahendra Singh Dhoni, we got the news that he had some back spasms, and he could be a doubtful starter. So Parthiv Patel was drafted to the team. Whether Dhoni, one hopes that Dhoni plays, because I think Dhoni playing would be something of a great motivation for the Indians. But if he does not play, I'm sorry to say, the team would look a bit crippled here with not Dhoni not playing. So one hopes that Dhoni plays tomorrow. In case Dhoni doesn't, then Parthiv Patel would be, it's already there as a standby. Then Hardik Pandya is getting his first taste, even though he went to Australia and he couldn't get a bat there, he bowled. But with the bat, he definitely showed showed his caliber when he actually tonked those two big sixes of the Lankan spinner. And Hardik Pandya is definitely having a very good reputation, and it should be very interesting to see what Hardik Pandya does in Bangladesh with the bat. And the spin would be in the hands of the established pair Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja. Always a very tough proposition for the opposition. And Jasprit Bumrah would be one to really look at. In fact, India has the bowling attack is looking pretty different right now, with Ashish Nehra making a comeback, doing well in Australia. Jasprit Bumrah on his first trip in Australia, he did a wonderful job of impressing one and all, and especially impressed the Indian captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni, which was very important. And why not? He had a wonderful Yorker in his repertoire, and he was also getting the ball to bounce. Probably the Australian wickets helping him. It would be interesting to see how he shapes up in Bangladesh. So the bowling attack is looking a bit. Only two bowlers, Jasprit Bumrah and Ashish Nehra. One probably Hardik Pandya will be the other bowler who would be taking the shine of the ball. Bangladesh, well, they are looking very strong. As Chandika Trusingha, the coach, has already brought a lot of life into this Bangladesh camp, no doubt about it. Soumya Sarkar is a very talented player. Mohammad Mithun has been drafted into the team. It will be interesting to see. One believes that Mohammad Mithun has done well in the Bangladesh domestic tournament, so that's the precise reason he's in. Sabir Rahman, they experimented him by actually sending him as one drop, and that against Afghanistan they did it, and he did it pretty successful. And the good thing about Sabir Rahman, dear fans and subscribers, was that he was very consistent with the bat, getting some regular 40s, 50s, so that is good to see. And then they have the experience of Mahmudullah, Mushfiqur Rahim, always a very tough competitor, Shakib Al Hasan, one of the sort of the war horses for Bangladesh, and then Nurul Hasan, the wicket keeper. In fact, Mushfiqur Rahim now his wicket keeping duties are getting a bit of a rest, which is good. But Nurul Hassan has already showed very good match temperament. He's a very good wicket keeper. The first thing is that he's a very, very safe wicket keeper, and also one has seen that he has some innovative strokes in his bat too when he bats. So that really helps him a lot. So that will be interesting to see what Nurul Hassan can do. And then Mashrafe Mortaza, as usual, the captain will be leading the side. Then Mustafizur Rahman, the man to watch, no doubt about it. He was the one who gave headaches to India, as you would remember. India had it very tough when they last came down to Bangladesh in that one-day series, as you would remember. So Mustafizur Rahman will be man to watch, and he troubled the Indians quite a lot. So it would be very interesting to see how India tackled Mustafizur Rahman. And then they also have Al-Hameen Hussain in the mix. So I think, and also one can say the news that we have is that the Under-19 World Cup, which was played in Bangladesh, we saw in Mirpur that it was a green pitch. The ball was really darting around under the lights, and also runs were coming. So basically, one could say there was a bit of both bat and ball at Mirpur, and one hopes that it remains the same so that we have some real stiff competition from both the teams, and which provides a lot of entertainment in the first match of the Asia Cup. Now, before I leave this cricket happening show, I have to say that finally the Pakistan Super League 2016, which was the inaugural Pakistan Super League, finally coming to fruition, which was played at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium today in the finals between Islamabad United and Quetta Gladiators. Ended in Islamabad United winning the inaugural Pakistan Super League by 6 wickets, and congratulations to them. Just giving you a sort of a synopsis of what really transpired there at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. Quetta Gladiators were the ones who batted first. They put on 174 for 7 on the board of 20 overs. Bismillah Khan disappointed. He was out for a block. Ahmed Shahzad made 64 of 39 balls with 9 fours and 1 6. Looked pretty sharp there. Ahmed Shahzad. Kevin Peterson making 18 of as many balls with 1 6. But and 55 from Sankar's bat of just 32 balls, 7 fours and 2 sixes. Mohammad Nawaz out for 7. Sarfraz Ahmed for 3. Grant Elliott pasted a 6 of the last ball of the 20th over. To see that is the coach of the Quetta Gladiators, Sir Isaac, former West Indian star Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards, really clapping on for a long time after seeing that the Quetta Gladiators finished on 174 for 7. The bowling, well, the highest wicket taker was Andre Russell, 4 overs, 3 for 36, 2 for 25 for Mohammad Irfan, and 1 wicket apiece to Samuel Badri and Mohammad Sami. Now, Islamabad United chasing 175 from 20 overs. Definitely the hero in the previous match, Shahjeel Khan, couldn't do much. He was consumed pretty early. He was bowled by Nathan McCullum for 12. But this today it was the turn for Dwayne Smith to show his pyrotechnics, as he really started caning the Quetta Gladiators bowlers by making a very, very hard hit 73 of just 51 deliveries, 7 fours and 4 sixes. Brad Haddin gave him company, and Brad Haddin was there to nurse this Islamabad United innings to their first inaugural Pakistan Super League title, as he finished on an unbeaten 61 of just 39 balls by hitting 2 fours and spanking 5 sixes. Brad Haddin, so that really helped matters. Russell was bowled by Chima for 7 of 3 balls with 1 6. Khalid Latif for 16 of just 7 deliveries, 3. And as you know, Khalid Latif has been drafted into the Asia Cup too. The reason being that they have seen in this Pakistan Super League that this bloke Khalid Latif, his strike rate is pretty good. He likes to hit the leather of the ball, and that's the precise reason he has been drafted. And Misbah ul Haq was there in the end, the captain of the Islamabad United. And as Pakistan captain Misbah ul Haq had already mentioned, it was like a sort of a World Cup final for him, and it would have given him a lot of satisfaction there. The bowling, well, 1 wicket apiece to Anwar Ali, McCullum, Isaac Chima. Dwayne Smith of Islamabad United was named man of the match, and the man of the series going to Ravi Bopara. But before I go, I will also have to say this, that Shahjeel Khan, who did a very, very good job in the previous match by slamming the first century of the Pakistan Super League, has been taken for both the Asia Cup and the T20 World Cup. And also, there's one more bloke by the name, I think Khalid Latif, which is one I already spoke about, Mohammad Sami, who took 5 wickets for a very measly bowling spell, taking 5 wickets, has already been also been included for both the Asia Cup and the T20 World Cup for Pakistan. After having a look, and because the reason being, there are I think it's Iftikhar Ahmed, and there is one more bloke from the Pakistan team. I think Ruman Rais, the pace bowler who was selected, are having some fitness problems. So that's the precise reason Mohammad Sami and Shahjeel Khan have been included. And Khalid Latif is another one who is also there. And I'm told Khalid Latif is also having the ability to strike the ball in a very, very hard manner. Well, dear fans, subscribers, that really, really sums up this cricket happening show of mine today. Hope you all liked it, and I'll be back with more